welcome back to Nugget Garage. It's been about 3 months since I've made a video for various reasons and things, mainly to do with workload, heat and motivation, which I seem to have solved a few of those now. I'm starting to get pretty keen again. The heat is slowly going away and the work is not slowing up. I'm trying to thin it out so that I have some time. Got a few mates that are going to probably be on the channel with me a little bit more. One is going to work for me. Andy is going to become kind of what Chris used to do and be my assistant, I guess, at work, and he can keep progressing on stuff when I don't have time. He also do the socials and do a little bit of editing for me. And then another mate of mine, Nathan, he's a decent enough fabricator in his own right. He's helped me with this new project that I've got, which I'll talk about in a second. And then Dave, 180 Fab, he's keen to sort of give me a hand with the videos as well. They all know that I need motivation and need someone to bounce stuff off, so that's what's going to happen. The cars we're currently driving stuff, it's been daily. It's pretty cool. It's a 1,000 horsepower daily driver and it's reliable. It's done one gearbox, I think, since I built it, and that was to be expected. The Max PSI Super, it still drives. I suspect it's probably got a broken flex plate, or the AC compressor is taking a dump because it's got this god-awful rattle on the bottom end, and the oil filters all seem fine, so it's not like it's a bearing issue or anything. So eventually, probably in a couple of months, I'll pull the motor out of that, and we'll do the next version, which Dan, the casting guy that works with the skid factory, he's actually working on a prototype lower manifold, inlet manifold half, that's going to shorten the runner length up a lot. And we should be able to make another couple of hundred horsepower with that thing, with a different turbo. Grandpa still drives. It's just a daily driver as well. The Bamboo K20, that whole billet choice thing probably wasn't a real good idea. It's just so expensive, and parts, like I'm still waiting for rods. I think we'll maybe have them next month. So basically, I'm just going to chip away at that one. I'm not going to rush it. It needs to be done right. It's big dollars, and I really have high expectations for it. The bike car, Jeff England's busy. He just keeps asking me if he can have a bit more time to the diff, and that's fine. I understand how stuff gets. The other cars, I'm kind of not going to do anything with much for a while, but what I did over Christmas is something stupid. I bought another car, which is a K70 panel van. It's a big tyre car. It's got a lot of roll cage in it. It's a ladder bar car. It's got a 9-inch in it. Previously was set up for a JZ. So the idea being this will allow me to race more competitively at no prep stuff like roll racing, lakeside, Corralbin. So basically, we got the car from Dan, a friend of mine. It's come from a few other people that I know, and it's also was originally built in Sydney. I think it was Sydney. About 20 years ago, I think it ran like an 8.1, 167. Got some video of that. I'll show you that shortly. So that's the first thing we're going to work on this year, I guess, is that panel van. Everyone's sort of keen to get it going. Peter Kip's gone and built me an engine for it already. It's a 3.3 cast block 2JZ wet block, so we're going to make it a street car with a 88mm turbo, and it should make close to 1,500 horsepower, and it should weigh about 1,200 kilos, maybe a little bit more with me in it. So that's the first thing I'm going to show you a video of. Well, actually, after we finished here, I'll made a quick montage of just sort of how it was when I got it, where it is at now, just to catch you up. The K10, it's currently getting the engine put back in it. Kip's gone and freshened that up. Put some R&R rods in it this time, and made some changes to cam timing and a few other things. It was actually good. That's the first time I've actually seen inside that engine. I've got some footage of that, which I'll overlay now. So yeah, Kip's gone and freshened that up. It's back in the hole. I've just got to put it back together, and Dave's going to try and make a dump pipe that's not such a restriction like the one that was on it, but it's very, very tight. We barely get 4-inch past the steering box, then we can barely get 3.5-inch past the actual pitman arm, and then 4-inch back out the side. So he's doing his best, but there's millimeters of clearance. Anyway, anyway, I'll get to work and I'll just roll the footage now of that K70 and we'll talk about what we're doing with that. Tracking with locator really.
Pandemic problem.
It might be right. That's the worst case, that's all the way down.
Is that an industry standard stand?
No, it's mine.
Yeah.
It never work. Tail shaft.
Would have to, that's, you can't change it.
It'll be right. It has gone down track before. Yeah. Obviously it didn't do. He went down one more hole in front to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
essential ones,
pretty
so
like-
back in the middle.
That came a little the same, different brackets and
That's the one I wanted to set up. So I figured it would give you enough. That's getting angle neutral with the right one. Or close enough, too close to it.
Alright, so this is where we've got to. The diff's in for the third time, I think. The video that you saw, we put the diff in, hung it all up, and I decided to put the diff center in there and make sure the axles fit. And I think one or two people that I know said when you weld that back brace onto that diff, make sure you preload it, which I thought I did, but turns out I didn't. So it was heaps of fun trying to straighten a diff that's already braced in a fashion that doesn't want to make it bend anymore. So we did some industry standard techniques and got that straight enough to use. So this car itself was owned by, I think it was the Gary brothers or one of their cousins or something. from down south. They had a couple of cars back in the day. This was blue. It was gutted doors, gutted trunk lid, you know, white as hell, bonnet scoop on the front. Had like an NA2J with a Microtech with a turbo on it. I think it went like an 8.1. Hung itself pretty bad in the video. About 1,000 foot, I think it shit itself. It went an 8.1. All these guards have been cut out and raised in an industry standard fashion. It's all full of bog. The car when I got it, it was being media blasted. Whoever that guy was needs to be shot, because he even hit it on the roof too hard, and basically the roof was all lost its tension. It was all full of dents. I had to put some stays up in there, if you can see them, try and hold the roof up. And next door, Nathan had a go at trying to make this more of a Corolla shape than smashed in crab that it was when I got it. And then the media blasting guy also decided that it was a good idea to not tape anything up, so all the race products, floaters, everything in the diff, even the diff center was all full of sanding, like the garnet they use in the media blasting. As far as I know, when Dan got it, this car had no interior in it, or no sheet metal. I think it had aluminium tubs maybe. I think this bit here came down straight at the back, so someone else up here has gone to town and cut everything out and re-sheet metaled it. It's interesting. It's a bit how you're going in places, but I'm going to make it work. It's going to drum really bad. Stick some carpet on there, hopefully it'll dull it down a bit. The roll cage, I think it's just mild steel, CDS or CDW, but it's a funny car cage. Hopefully it's techable. I've got to clean all this crap out in here and just carpet it. I'm going to carpet everything, roof, tunnel, just with that stick-on carpet stuff. Front suspension's all tubular. The cross member is tubular. It's all been made. The engine's in now for the third time, looking like it's going to have to come out again, because when they've set this tunnel up, they've set it up for a torque power bell housing and a 6-cylinder glide case, and I'm using a V8 glide case and adapter plate, and it doesn't fit. So I've been in there and we've been whacking on it, but it's not moving enough, so the motor's got to come out and we've got to get in there with a bigger hammer. The manifold came off Gab Miller's Supra. He actually gave it to me for tuning his car. It's a 6-boost Pro Mod style manifold. We've had to cut and rotate it a bit. The turbo's a GD47 88mm. The wastegate, Timmy with the Bluebird actually gave me a 50mm turbo smart for it, so that's going on there. The engine, Pip built it. It's a 2JZ iron, original casting, wet block. It's got a pretty crazy ported cylinder head on it that came from somewhere in WA years ago that I bought. It's got Kelford cams in it, Kelford springs. It's a Nitto 92mm stroke crank, Nitto rods, CP pistons. So, and it's got Real Street billet main caps. So enough engine for probably 1500 horsepower. The intercooler is some Chinese copy thing. I don't know, I'll give it a go. It's about 120mm thick. The radiator is a Supra Mishimoto. I've got to weld some stuff on here. The inlet plenum we're going to use is off the original OG K20. It actually fits with the firewall here. The runner turns in 1 and 6, so it fits. Nathan's going to modify that. We're going to put a 82mm drive-by-wire throttle on it. What else? Oh, the wheels on this back, you see from video from the past there, it's had weld stars on it, which I actually found those wheels that had it had 15x12s on the back, but old mate with a media blaster, they didn't escape his wrath either. They were all hit by garnet again and all sanded, like sandblasted, so they're actually at magline wheels at the moment. Just getting them restored. They're going to weld up all the, it had bead screws and crap in the rear rims, which is alright 15 years ago, not anymore. So I'm going to get them to weld all that up and repolish the wheels and I got a bit down about this car when I first got it. I started having a look at it and it really was a piece of shit. And sort of made peace with it now, and I want to try and save it, and I want to keep it true to how it used to be. Other than the stupid Lexan windows and crap, I'm going to put all glass back in it and window regs. I'm even going to put aircon in it. Just one of those electric AC units, because I'm going to try and drive this thing on the road. So I managed to find a good bonnet. So it's going to have a normal bonnet on it. No bonnet scoop. I don't know why I had a bonnet scoop. The brakes, I think we've narrowed it down to maybe a Corona disc and caliper. If anyone can ID that, tell me what it is. We've got a set of doors off another car that keep it telling with the car that was supposed to be in good nick, but we had to cut and shut hinge mounts and all sorts of crap to make them work. Dad found me a set of guards out of a car at Warwick. On the front apron, it's pretty much good to go. This is good to go. I'm going to put a stock K70 dash back in it with an IC7 dash and a Mako insert. I'm probably going to piss the Kirky off. I don't like them, they're too draggish looking. Put some normal looking seats in it. Whoa. ECU is going to be a Nexus R5. May have pinched it from my K20 project. Once again, that's the second Nexus I've actually bought for that and haven't used it in it. The gearbox is a kit built aftermarket case. Where is it? There. It's way too big at the moment. We're going to have to bolt the bell housing adapter to it and cut all the ears off. I think this is a multi-purpose bell housing. Maybe it's big block Chev, small block Chev, or maybe it's Ford. I'm not sure. So we'll do that tomorrow. Put that bell housing plate onto it, grind all the crap off. It doesn't need to be there. Pull the motor back out, do some more bashing, and then the motor and box can probably go in for good. Then we can get the tail shaft measurement, get an order in with driveline services, get that coming, because there could be a 5-week wait on that. So the idea is I'm going to try and run this at Coralban in June. Whether it is painted or whether it's in high fill, doesn't really matter. I don't care, I just want to race it. So we'll just work towards that. Probably the next 10 videos will all be this car, I guess. Maybe the 10. Sydney Jamboree, I think, is in May. Kip said we might attempt to get the K10 down to that. Anyway, it's too hot. I'm going home. Well, I'll see you next week.